we're embarking on this art lending program in real partnership with FPAC as a way to not only improve our work by having the influence of artists and their work in our office, but also to reach out to and support the artist community in Boston.
They're really thoughtful, like thinking about it from the artist's point of view. They're interested in engaging in a dialogue with the artists.
Does that change anybody's opinion on what the piece is about?
They've really, for me, changed the way the office feels and the dynamic of it, how that art in some ways relates to some of our projects.
I was thinking about deconstruction, architectural deconstruction.
Hopefully looking at their work and thinking about ways it would apply to our work in the future.
Without a title or any indication what that piece is about, 95% of the people who have seen it see the oil industry. I'm going to make a little change here for you. Let's just start with, does that change anybody's opinion on what the piece is about?
That moves me towards water rather than oil.
Yeah. The boat is a little bit rough on the bottom and has a bunch of pumps in it, so you assume it's a leaky boat. And you can pump it, but the only place you can pump it is back to the damn boat again. They can't go anywhere. So when you introduce the cups, that's something that made me think, oh, well, now there's a way to take whatever that is and get it out, except they're also chained, so you can't operate them. So if you don't have the key to open the pumps, you're really kind of stuck in a very leaky boat that's pretty doomed.
When I first saw it, what I thought those were actually abstract representations of mechanical people, like actual rowers. And it was this weird dichotomy of this comment on what we've become in terms of mechanization.
This is really about the next war. The war is going to be over water.
Over water.
Yeah. And who owns the water? Who controls it?
Water was a huge part of this project.
It seemed like the ideal place for a kinetic sculpture that would respond to the tide and the weather.
We wanted the installation to be something happening rather than to be about it. If there are figures actually moving and interacting, you're a part of that moment in time as the viewer. That we realized that the site would be an opportunity to talk about the refugee crisis.
It's 22 figures. It came from 21.3 million, which is the UNHCR estimate.
And so this face doesn't really come from anywhere. It's maybe an abstraction of a lot of different faces. It's nobody, and it's very kind of reduced in details.
A symbolic use of the figure, something that was addressing more generally the idea of migration and immigration and refugees over time.
So I'm just going to quickly read to you about this body of work. So for years I've scavenged streets, loading docks, and storage spaces for compelling standardized shapes that influence our experience of everyday functionality. Packaging materials, office supplies, or other forms that protect precious cargo of the everyday. I refer to my desire to save these items as utilophilia. However, the ways I choose to recycle them veers away from utility. I've had to move around Boston a lot. The city is changing rapidly and it's hard for artists to find space, and so I've lived in maybe 5 or 6 different studios within like 1.5 years when I was making this. So my life was like basically stored in these milk crates. Like they're these really nice modular units that you can stack them. You could make a bed out of them, you could make a wall out of them, you could store all your things. It took a long time to make this piece. It's very, very simple. You just stack them, but it took forever to get all the colors. Right now it's abstract, image of a log cabin quilt. So this is one of the most common traditional quilting patterns. So the way you would build a log cabin is you would like put down 2 beams, put down 2 on top of that. I mean, it's just like Lincoln logs, right? You've got these 2 strips of black, and then you have 2 strips of gray, 2 of blue, red. It doesn't have to be those patterns, but the idea is just that you alternate in that way. I'm gonna change it every month or so. I'm just gonna arrange it into sort of different kind of like architectural motifs. This idea that it reflects kind of the change that also has happened in Boston.
For me, deconstruction in a poetic, sculptural way It's just transforming an architectural object. In this model, I've got reform chair, reform table, reclining stairs, the flood, dancing doors, and corner closet. I was thinking about form follows function, that famous quote by Louis Sullivan, and I was thinking about deconstruction, architectural deconstruction. It's non-functional architecture.
Something I'm interested in my work is this idea of trespassing in areas that you need to trespass to make progress. Magic is this still completely male-dominated area. So we're enacting parts of that magic trick of sawing the lady in half, replacing the female form with these paint bricks. It really is 100% paint. There's nothing else added to it to create the object. I didn't want a whole brick to have one color theme. I wanted it to kind of feel a little messy,